Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy. We're here with Cirie Fields from Survivor Game Changers, Panama, Micronesia, and Heroes vs. Villains.
Hi, Cirie. Thanks for speaking with us today.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Did you consider not playing Survivor again, or was that an easy yes for you?
Oh, no, yeah.
And how did your family react when you told them you were going to play again?
They know how much I love Survivor, so they always support me going.
What did you do to prepare, if anything different this time?
Well, not much.
How did Sarah explain why she took Michaela out instead of you?
Well, she said, which, I understood. Michaela and I were getting pretty close, and she was, when whoever's not Sarah's number one, and they're in a pair, she has to get rid of one of them, which just speaks to her gameplay. We'll come down. With everything crazy going on, I'm actually running to the car to go to the hotel to get another car to the airport. So if there's some interference, it's because I'm in the car.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So Sarah's explanation was spot on. Anytime there was a pair in the group, you had to split that up. And she saw how close Michaela and I were getting. I think that just solidifies the reasoning why we should have voted for Sarah.
What were you feeling when you realized that no one had voted for you, but you were still leaving the game?
I had some mixed feelings. I was like, wow, this just happened, because I'm a fan of the show. And at the same time, I was like, wow, this just happened. Damn, not again.
And did you know that Sarah had the legacy advantage?
I knew she had something because Sarah told me, when in the initial stages, she said, don't worry, we got this. We would talk about the plan, and she said I had backup. Mm-hmm. So then she showed me the first advantage, and then she said, and I got backup to the backup. However, she didn't explain to me or tell me exactly what it was, and at that point, I wasn't asking any questions.
Now, did you vote for Sarah, and how did you make that decision?
I voted for Sarah because of how she was able to switch alliances and still be accepted back. She was able to manage all of the people so well that we didn't even discuss her with one another until later on in the game. And I just, game recognizes the game. You got to give credit where credit is due, and I thought she played the best game.
What did you think of the new final tribal council format?
I think it's great because you get so much more information than having someone stand up and say something mean or ask a silly question trying to put the person on the spot. You actually get to say and influence maybe some of the other jury members with the question and the conversation that you're having with the three finalists.
Were there any answers given from the final three that you wish we had heard or that helped you make a choice?
I think if Brad would have said, look, I took Sarah because I thought all y'all would be pissed off on her, but that just speaks to how this game has changed and evolved from back in the day. That's an old school play. I hope it wasn't a fatal move because I did this, and so also in the game. I think he may have still had a chance.
What cover story did you give people for being away from home to film Survivor?
I don't even remember this time. I don't think I had to give a cover story this time because I was switching jobs. I actually started my new job at Nyack Hospital on the 27th of July, and I got back from Fiji on the 18th. So I didn't really have to make up anything. I'm kind of like a reformed couch potato now. I don't stay on the couch, but I'm usually in the house. So I didn't really have to explain to many people. And my family, they all knew.
What effect did Jared's visit have on your game?
Oh, my God. I'm only positive. It was great. It was like a refill because I hadn't, I wasn't going on a lot of the rewards, and I was starving and hangry and tired. But it was just rejuvenating to see him and to see him get to experience what I was experiencing. And then the barbecue, it helped a little bit, too.
Did you have any injuries out there or health issues after you got back?
No. You know what? If you ever have to be or want to be on Survivor and you got any kind of in to get some information, if they're going to Fiji, go. That's the best place, the best location I've ever been on. I didn't even get one bug bite. Not one bug bite the whole time in Fiji.
Was there anything you wish had been shown about you that didn't get aired?
Not really. Not really. I'm ecstatic with how everything. I mean, I could be happier had I won $1 million. But other than that, I was really happy with how everything played out.
Why do you think you were more emotional this time?
You know what? We all were. We asked each other that question because I never cried as much. I think because it was such a hard game to play with the caliber of people I was playing with, it wasn't like you could just sit back and, sit comfortably in an alliance that had the numbers. You had to actually work there was no rest. There was no rest, so your mind never got the time to rest. Your body didn't get the time to rest, and that all works on you, and it just broke us down emotionally at times.
It looked to us that you had a fairly rough start in the game. Who would you say helped you the most this time?
I would say getting in with Andrea and Officer Sarah early on and trying to, you know what, the Survivor guys helped me early on too, because had I lost any of those initial challenges, even the first one, I probably would have been the first one gone.
Cirie, I just can't help but think if Sarah had not played and had the legacy advantage that you could have won this season. I mean, she had 3 votes against her. She would have gone out in the tribal council that you went out if she hadn't had that legacy advantage. And I really think you would have won. How do you feel about that? Do you think...
It's bittersweet, you know what I mean? However, I don't know, it was still a lot of game to be played after that. And if you don't know in Survivor, anything is possible. Anything is possible. But getting one of the biggest players out of the game, I think my next job then would have been trying to convince Ty and Aubrey, because once Sarah left, I think Ty may have flipped back to the guys. Even though he was saying how Brad was, and how Brad was that way with him and a lot of other people, I think the fact that I had kind of flim-flammed him on that Sarah vote might have given him a really hard decision to make, and I'm not really sure which way he would have went.
What was your most embarrassing moment, and what was your funniest moment out there?
Embarrassing moment was not reading the fine print, or actually not reading it at all. And, as a nurse, I know better than that. I know you don't write anything or say anything unless you check it twice, if not 3 times. So that, just from a professional and just knowing better standpoint, I was like, really stupid. You played something you didn't even get to see, or attempted to play something you didn't get to see.
And you got there right before you went to tribal, is that right, timing-wise?
Right at lockdown. I saw her put it in my bag.
Oh, okay.
I actually reached in my bag to feel to make sure it was there. However, I didn't get to read it. And the funniest moment, you guys never saw it, so it's kind of funny in my head. And even though all that craziness was going down, I was sitting there having these funny thoughts, like when Jeff asked me to read what the advantage said, I was having a conversation with myself. Do you skip over the non-transferable word and just read transferable? And then I was like,
oh, you're breaking up. Yeah, what's next for you?
Area.
Cirie?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I did just then. What's next for you?
Uh-oh.
You there, Cirie?
I'm so sorry, guys. It looks like we lost her.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Cirie, thank you so much for sharing with us today, and good luck to you.